No, I don't. I actually listened to Heater's press conference and found it pretty funny. So he hasn't changed too much.
What does it mean to you, 250?
I haven't really thought about it too much, to be honest. I think as players, and for me, you just get caught up in the week to week so much that, 250 this week will be amazing if we can get a win and get our season, going again. So, yeah, it's obviously, to get to 250, I'm really proud of, but I haven't really thought about it too much.
You've been pretty durable throughout your career. Do you know why that's the case?
I'm not too sure. I think early on I got glandular fever, and that's probably the biggest setback I've had so far in my career, with missing 3 months of pre-season and sort of not being eligible to play AFL for like the first 6 or 7 rounds of year one. And ever since then, I've, touch wood, been pretty lucky, and I say it to a few of the boys. It sounds funny, but I've only broken bones, not done soft tissue. So I think it's because I'm not fast enough to do soft tissue. So and I think I'll be safe moving forward.
You mentioned getting back on track. How disappointing was the weekend? It seemed like a bit of a flat performance overall.
It was. I suppose the game we were trying. We tried to move the ball through them, and I think you've got to give credit where credit's due. And I think Port Adelaide were really tough opposition. They're fourth or in the top 4 for a reason, and we tried to get through them, and they were just set up really well behind the ball, and their guys through the midfield and forwards worked probably a little bit harder than us on the day, and and then obviously Robbie Gray had a fair afternoon. So we're disappointed with how he played, and the 5 or 6 weeks leading up to that, we'd been really solid, and we're disappointed. It was a game we thought we could win, and looking back even today through the review, it's a game that we're disappointed in, and we need to respond on Sunday versus Hawthorn.
Were you bold enough though?
I think at times we were. We tried to take them on, and we got the ball into one-on-ones at times, give our forwards a chance, and we just couldn't get the job done. So, but in saying that, I think 30 points is probably flattering to us. It could have been a lot more. They missed some easy shots on goal. So, we'll look to make sure that this week against Hawthorn we're defending a lot better than what we did on the weekend.
Tony Short for the midfield crabs on the weekend. Do you think, you're saying you thought you were bold enough, do you think that's probably a little bit over the top?
I haven't really heard what context he was talking about. I just heard it this morning that he said we were crabs. So, look, every week in football there's opinions come around about when you're going well and when you're not going well. So from our midfield review and our team review, it wasn't brought up, and it's not something we worry about, and we just want to get back to playing that football that we've shown in the last sort of 6 weeks.
Jamie Elliott's been a big loss the last couple of weeks. Do you think he's a chance to come back this week?
I haven't seen him on the training track, so I'm not too sure. And we had a light run around today, and I don't know if he was out there. I was inside, so it would be great if he could, but we're not a side, and we can't be a side that needs Jamie out there to play for us to look dangerous up front.
Just on your own career, do you look at guys like Mitchell and Bergood, who are still out there running around at 34 and think that he could make it to 300?
I'd like to make it to 300. I want to play more than 50 more games. So, it's just, as I said, it's not something I've thought about. I think for me, my focus my whole career is just week to week and preparing as well as I can for the upcoming opposition, and making sure that I do my homework on the teams that we play and the midfield groups we play, and go from there. And it feels really quick to this point that I've got to 250, and I'd love to get to 300, 350, but got to make sure I take care of 250 first.
How much does it please you that, I know you said you were durable, but your performance has been, you've been probably one of the most consistent performers over your career in the AFL in terms of week to week. How much does that please you?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. It's just, as I said, I just try and prepare well every week and give myself the best chance to go out there and perform and play my role for the side. And I think it's important to me, and it was when I was a lot younger, that obviously every player's going to have good days, but when you have those bad ones, that you're still serviceable. And I'm not sure what coach said it early on in my career, but about the your really good games being up here, but your bad ones being at a level that you can still hold your head up with when you walk off the ground. And I think for the majority of the time that I'm able to play my role when I'm not having a really good one, I suppose.
You're pretty early into your fatherhood. Have you noticed any changes so far related to how it affects footy?
Yeah, well, I was up this morning at 3 a.m. till 4:30 a.m. and that's unusual for me. So, but loving fatherhood and really enjoying it. And yeah, you certainly forget about football when you get home.
Sam Mitchell said that becoming a father makes you a bit less anal about getting everything absolutely right. Has that applied to you at all?
Yeah, it has, because you can't. Like when I leave here, I want to get home and see Jax and Alex. And not saying I didn't want to see Alex before Jax come along, but yeah, you certainly took more time for yourself to get things right. And when you had the break and you needed to get a bit of training done, you work it around sort of how he's going, and you might come in at 10 o'clock at night as opposed to lunchtime when you'd like to. Yeah.
On the weekend, do you think they're close to coming back and also Travis Smart?
Yeah, I think both Maney and Coxie have played probably 3 or 4 really good VFL games now, so they would have to be pushing to come back in the side. And Blairy as well was really good again. So all those guys would be putting pressure on, and the senior 22 that played on the weekend, we put ourselves under the pump with the performance we delivered.
Scott, your basketball pedigree was talked about a lot, especially in the early days, and the draft has been in the news recently. Do you ever wonder what might have been if you went down that career path instead?
No, not really. I see the numbers bandied around. It makes me a little bit sad that I never went there. But no, I'm very happy with the decision I made, and yeah, and to the guys that I used to play against or with, to still be here and watching them over in the NBA doing the things they're doing. I still love the sport and love watching, and I'm very happy for those guys.
Have you been in touch with Trav last week?
Yeah, I sent him a text and just wished him all the best. And yeah, I think as a mate, it's the right thing to do. And I can't offer him much advice. I leave that to the medicals. And yeah, I just hope he's going well.
Have you been impressed with the growth in your career in that area in terms of players, welfare, and management?
Are you talking about since I started to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think players are a lot more open now, and it's not as blokey, the environment. And I don't think 10, 12 years ago many people would probably feel comfortable, saying putting their hand up and saying they need a bit of a break. And I think guys are showing great courage in doing so.
All the was pretty good on the weekend. Did you watch their game against Adelaide? What did you notice?
Yeah, I thought they were really, really impressive on the weekend, especially going over to Adelaide on their deck. And yeah, I think the thing that stood out to me was how impressive they were defensively, and they set up so well behind the ball. They controlled the footy really well, which allows them to set up behind the footy. Grant Birchall coming back is a real key piece for them, and yeah, it's going to be a big game for us on Sunday.
It's not that long since you played against them, 5 or 6 weeks, I guess. Did you take much out of that last game?
Yeah, it's a weird one. We play Hawthorn twice in 6 weeks, and we haven't played some other sides in the competition yet. So yeah, we'll go back and have a look at that game. It was probably a game of 2 halves. They dominated the first one and we dominated the second one. So ideally they don't jump us by 7 or 8 goals again, and we get in from the start and put them on the back foot.
That audio of Luke Hodge was interesting out of that game. I don't know if you watched it on TV, but...
Oh, which one?
When he was mic'd up during the game.
Against us?
No, against
Adelaide, yeah.
Did you take anything out of that as a captain? Just the leadership and the direction he was showing?
Yeah, I liked that Hodgie was mic'd up from my point of view to more the fact that we played this week and trying to pick up on any lingo they use behind the footy or whatever. And yeah, he's very vocal, and like I knew that before having to hear it, but it was impressive to see the way he encourages his teammates and gets after them at times as well. And he's certainly very, very vocal and has a bit of fun out there as well.